I'm Mei Xuan. I'm from Bachelor of Environmental Studies in NUS. There's a lot of biodiversity in Singapore. We just have to stop and look. We usually don't think too much about it because we are always wrapped up in our own lives, doing our work, getting some money, some of that bread. And I think if we just learn to stop and stare, we'll be able to see a lot more and appreciate a lot more about what we have around us. In NUS alone, I see things like the collared kingfisher. Recently I saw the lineated barbet. You don't usually see these things if you don't actually look out for it. But the moment you pay attention to it, they all start jumping out at you. They just assail your senses. It's not just birds. If we look around, it seems like Singapore is a very manicured garden. We have a lot of things that are planted by people. But these things also form part of our biodiversity. And if we just stop to appreciate it, we realize that it's all around us and it's something that we have to call our own as well. I began to appreciate biodiversity a lot more because of the modules that I'm taking. One is the modules that I'm taking in science, which is a lot of biology and ecology modules. Because of that, I was exposed to a lot more of the things that are around us in Singapore. And the other module that I took was the ULS 2208 Biodiversity and Natural History in Singapore, which is a USP module, and it allowed me to bring two of my interests together. So I've always been very interested in going out to nature and walking around and getting dirty, but I've also been interested in drawing since I've been really young. And this module, through documentation, allowed me to bring the two interests together and allow me to see how I can both draw in nature and appreciate nature at the same time. Nature journaling for me is about documenting what I see out in nature. It provides me a way to capture what I see when I'm outdoors and put it into paper in a way that sometimes only I can understand. I think nature journaling is different for different types of people. For me, I do a lot of drawing, so my nature journals and my field notebooks have a lot more drawings in them and captions. I can also see how nature journaling can consist of photography or poems or writing. I think nature itself is a very big source of inspiration for a lot of art and a lot of different types of works, and that itself is one reason why I keep going back to it. I guess when I head out to nature in Singapore, a lot of times I'm not going to a specific place in mind with a specific purpose. I find myself going past a certain spot when I'm on the bus, and then I realize that, hey, actually I can head there, and I find some time to make my way there to explore more of that place. I think one very critical aspect of nature journaling is actually having open senses. The moment you begin to realize that what we have around us is available as soon as you just stop and see and hear and smell and feel, that's when you realize that your senses are becoming overwhelmed with a lot of things. And that's really one of the most important aspects of being a beginner. To be able to feel and experience and see and hear all these things is not something that comes very easily, and it only comes with a lot of practice. So it's important to open up these avenues for your body to experience what we have around us. I think you just have to come to terms with the fact that if you want to experience nature in Singapore, you got to get dirty. It's very important for you to take notes about what you are looking at. So you might not be able to capture the form very well, but you can anecdote what is the color of the body, does it have broad shoulders. This is where your basic anatomy of the bird comes in handy.
Oh, no.
But if you don't have that, then you
just draw simple shapes like a circle,
a line, yeah, correct. Yeah, okay, so you got this line, right? So next thing is you want to fill in with balls, which is his body. The tree, does it have moss growing on it? Does it look very smooth? What's the texture of the bark?
the more you begin to notice them,
you realize you can make conclusions. Like, for example, this is the first time you're seeing a kite. But just now, you actually noticed that it was with a partner, correct?
It was in a pair.
Yeah, it was in a pair. So take note of this, and then subsequently, when you see the same bird, you might ask, how come it's not in a pair? Right? And then if it's not in a pair, should I be expecting another nearby bird? Right? So
and then you can look around for
yeah, you can look around for it. So this is your field sketch.
Oh,
It's as simple as that.
that's all.
The trick is to be receptive and treat every time you come to even the same place as a new experience, because you're going to see something new. And I think that's what sets a naturalist apart from like a bird. So just some advice for beginners to start heading outdoors. One of it is to check the weather app. Another thing is proper attire. So going out in slippers is not such a good idea, especially if you intend to go into more muddy and thorny areas. A cap is useful to protect your head. Shirt, sometimes long sleeve is useful as well. And proper pants is actually pretty useful. It protects your legs. And maybe like boots or just shoes is actually good for heading outdoors into nature in Singapore. Surrounding yourself with a group of like-minded individuals with similar interests is actually quite important for you to begin nature journaling. It can get very daunting to start on this journey of nature journaling and drawing and observing, simply because you might feel that you're not adequate, you're not drawing well enough, or you're not writing, or you're not capturing proper things. I realized at a certain point in time that it's not about how well other people are doing or comparing myself to other artists. It dawned on me that I was actually progressing a lot just because I kept going at it. You don't have to be afraid that what you are capturing or what you are drawing is inadequate in other people's eyes, because at the end of the day, these observations are your own, and the more you keep at it, the better you become at it. I kept pushing the thought that I'm not good enough out of my mind, and I think that's a very important barrier to overcome if we want to improve ourselves. There's a lot to see around us. Whether you are looking at a building or whether you are looking at the green spaces in Singapore. Prof. Peter Ng actually gave us a quote before about why we should care about our biodiversity, and I felt that it resonated with me a lot. It's very simple. Why should we care about our biodiversity? Simply because it's ours and it's all that we have to call our own. When I started nature journaling, I realized that the more I took down what I saw, the more I saw. And because of that, I began to realize that we have a lot more around us than what we actually think we do. The moment you realize that you are being assailed by a lot of experiences, your senses are being bombarded with a lot of things, that's when you realize that you're on the right track. And I think you shouldn't be intimidated by all of these things. You should just accept it and take it in and put it into your nature journals. Peace out.